Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I will be providing my book review of a novelization of the Star Trek III movie, A Search for Spock. The movie was written and produced by Harve Bennett, and the novelization was written by Vonda McIntyre. I don't review too many novelizations on the channel because I don't read as many novelizations. I've read all the Star Wars novelizations. I've read a few Star Trek and a few smaller movies, but not too many. And I'll say that I generally don't enjoy novelizations in quite the same level as regular original novels because to me novelizations don't do enough heavy lifting of original material. What I mean by that is that the novels are really just adaptations of the screenplay, and that is totally valid. And there's two ways that novelization writers tend to do things. They either make the novelization a very faithful to the screenplay and to the movie adaptation, and then you also have the more, I'm going to expand upon the movie so that it adds added context and so that it really helps you understand elements and really appreciate the movie more. I tend to prefer the second group, the group that's more into the let's expand this, let's add more context, as opposed to the let's just tell a straight retelling of the story. For an example, I was not a big fan of the Force Awakens novelization in Star Wars because I felt that novelization added next to nothing of original material to the story, and the new material it did add really didn't impact Star Wars storytelling at all. Whereas you have something like The Last Jedi story, which I think that Force Awakens is a better movie than The Last Jedi, but I think the Last Jedi novelization is better because Jason Fry really makes you appreciate the movie more by adding in so many more details and information and background context. For Star Trek, I have read one novelization before, and that was Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country by J.M. Dillard, and I thought this was a fantastic, brilliant, delightful novelization. It added so much to my thoughts about the movie and made me appreciate the movie even more. I would say that The Search for Spock adds even more to the movie and adds even more context. Now, I personally believe that Undiscovered Country is a better movie than Search for Spock, but they're still really good. My personal top three Star Trek movies, obviously Voyage Home is my favorite. It's the most enjoyable to me. Then you have Undiscovered Country, which I believe is the best made. I believe it has the best story, the kind of political Cold War ending story that I enjoy. And then my third favorite is Search for Spock, which I think is the most underrated Star Trek movie. Most people have it way lower on their list. And what I enjoy about the movie is that it really puts an emphasis on the characters of Kirk, Spock, McCoy, even though Spock's dead, quote, in the movie. You have Kirk and McCoy and all of the Enterprise crew. And what makes this novelization so good is it tells the story of the movie, but that isn't really the main focus. The main focus in this book is added material. The first 75 pages go by, and you still haven't gotten to the events of the movie, which I think is really is very brave on Pocketbook's part to do that. And I think it was a good move because you add context to several characters that needed it. One character that adds so much context is Saavik. I think that they did a great job fleshing out Saavik's character. She is a very conflicted individual in this book. Her Romulan and Vulcan heritage, her questions about emotions, questions about Spock, questions about being in the Federation and Starfleet are all great in this book. And her developed relationship with David is fantastic, and it just makes David's death in the movie so much more impactful. Likewise, you have David, who is reeling from the loss of all of his friends on the station from Wrath of Khan. You also have him realizing that Genesis is not what he thought it was going to be. And you also have the difficulties that he's going through of sorting out his feelings for his dad, his feelings for Starfleet, and his feelings for Saavik, and I thought that was all wonderfully played out. It makes their choice to go to the Grisham in the movie make much more sense. Another character that gets a lot of fleshing out in this book is Scotty. Scotty is very much put on the back seat of the movie. Although he has some funny lines in the movie, he doesn't really have a lot to do. But in this book, he is, of course, reeling from the death of his nephew from Wrath of Khan, and he is doing eulogies, and he's doing a wake, and he's trying to go and pay his respects to the family, who's very mad at Scotty for letting their nephew die, and he's also trying to sort out his feelings about the Enterprise being decommissioned, and so Scotty gets extra attention. Uhura gets a very small amount of attention, but it's more than the movie gave her. You get to see how did Uhura escape Starbase because she should have been captured. And this book, it makes sense. It works. Everything was great. Rather than that, but it is a very few scenes with her. And then also McCoy gets a little bit of added material, as does Sulu, but they are very much a little bit. A character who got added material in this book was Carol Marcus, and you get her relationship with one of the dead, her dead scientists that she worked with, and they're revealed to be a couple. It didn't work for me. It didn't hit. That information wasn't necessary to the book. I would have spent more time with Saavik and David developing their story a little bit more instead of hers if you want to get to the same page count. Because I think this book is perfectly paced, perfect number of pages. It works just as it should. And then the whole Krug storyline is pretty much the same. There's not much added or taken away from what happens with Krug and his crew. And I'll be honest, Krug is one of my favorite characters now because of John Jackson Miller's Prey trilogy. And so I liked seeing him in the book, but he didn't add much. So I highly enjoyed this book. I thought it was a wonderful book. I thought that this is how you do a novelization. And I appreciate the approach that Pocket took to really add a lot of material. When you do that, you make me appreciate the book more. When you just tell exactly the story in the movie, that's a fair way to do it, but it's not the way I like. And so I appreciate when the publishers give this style of storytelling. And I'm really interested to read the others, which I hope to read some of the other novelizations soon. So if you've read this novelization, what did you think? Comment down below. If you've read other Star Trek novelizations, which ones are your favorites, which are your least favorites? Let me know your thoughts. And until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.